All right, welcome back, cultivators. We're very excited for this presentation with Mike Mireles. He's going to be sharing with us 4 steps to making your point. And without any further ado, I'll pass it on to Michael.
Thank you, Molly. So I've adapted this presentation from a course that I took at Brown from an amazing professor who does speech coaching. And I was really excited to share it with you. So without further ado, here are 4 steps to make your point. All right, so this is my situation. I would challenge each of you to think about a circumstance right now where you have to make a point or would like to make the case for something as I explain my situation. So on the left, you'll see my puppy, Nube, who is currently 4 months old. In the middle, you'll see that there's a computer laptop that is to represent my work schedule and my SO's work schedule. So we live together. I am a full-time university student, but I'm also doing an internship, and she is fully employed. So as you can tell, we're very busy. The picture on the far right is of a mop. And if you haven't guessed it already, that mop is the one that we use to clean up Nuba's accidents. So because of our very busy schedules, we often find it difficult to take her outside when she needs to go. More often than not, I will be the one who drops everything to take her outside. And I've noticed that I've been doing that for a while. I would like my SO to start taking Nuba out to go to the bathroom more often. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to make the case to her as to why she should drop everything and take Nuba to go to the bathroom when she needs to go. So I believe my SO should take Nuba out to the bathroom more often during the day. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of time to reflect. Abel, sorry for cold calling, but like, can you think of anything right now, like a moment or some sort of point that you would like to make to anyone?
Kind of along what you're talking about, I'm the person who takes the trash out at my house. And now it's just me and my wife at home because my son, like, he was at school, and actually he's physically at school, you're not. And so she expects me to take it out every Wednesday night. And I said to her recently, why don't you take it out? I mean, why can't you take out the trash? And she says, I do everything else in the house. So I kind of lost that real quick, but maybe I can learn something from you that will help me convince her to help me out with that chore.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this framework will help you get there. So step 1, you need to have a goal. This is going to be the bedrock of the entire point of what you're trying to communicate to your target audience. Oftentimes, a lot of people, when they're trying to make the case for something, they lose sight of what they originally wanted out of the conversation very quickly. And what that usually leads to is a completely different end result for something that's completely unrelated to why you even had a conversation in the first place. In this instance, my goal is, in fact, to get my SO to take Nuba out to the bathroom. And when I approach this conversation, I want to make sure that the beginning and the end of this conversation revolve around Nuba's bathroom accidents. So the conversation shouldn't go anywhere else. Step 2, credibility. Really what this means is just do your homework, know who you're talking to, and you need to make sure that you know your facts. In this situation, credibility for me would look like knowing my work schedule, knowing my SO's work schedule, knowing Nuba's schedule, and just doing some extra research on appropriate, optimal dog bathroom schedules. So all of those understandings are going to be key to why I should bring this up in the first place. Step 3, with what's in it for me? So this really is to build a bridge of empathy to your target audience. You know why this issue matters to you, but you need to make sure that they know why it should matter to them. right? So ask, in their context, they're probably going to ask, what's in it for me? They don't have to ask you, but they're probably thinking about it. What is in it for me? In this case, I would list a couple of things to my SO. One, taking Nube out to go to the bathroom gives her a mental break from her work. Taking Nube out to the bathroom will prevent us from having to clean up accidents from the floor. Taking Nube to the bathroom will give her time to bond with Nube. And when you have those lists of reasons why this should matter to your target audience, think about prioritizing which one of these is the one that you want to lead with. So in this case, I think my partner cares a lot about having to clean up the messes that Nube has in our apartment. So I'm going to lead with that, and that's going to be the focal point of my point. You can also see this in workplace circumstances. What's in it for your boss is going to be different for what's in it for your team. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what your point is. And step 4, delivery. This is all about context. You want to ask who, what, when, where, why. It would be a very complete different outcome if I brought up this topic over dinner versus bringing this topic up in front of our friends, right? It's the attitude about what I'm saying is going to be very different. My SO is going to have a completely different perspective about what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. So this, honestly, this is probably the most important point because it matters how and when you're bringing up the conversation or the argument or the case. I'm gonna pick on Molly. Molly, like, can you think of any situation where delivery really matters?
Yes, like the holiday dinner table coming up. I think I mentioned that in the last event, but I think you want to be, if you do want to engage with your family members in certain dialogues where you're going to be making a case or making your point, thinking about the time and place, especially over the holidays in which you choose to engage in those conversations, feels important.
That's true. It is important. So this is a wrap up of the framework. So the 4 steps: have your goal, establish your credibility, with them, what's in it for me, and delivery. These are the things that you need to make a clear, effective point. And that's it.
Abel, I'm curious how you will tell your family that it's in their best interest to start taking out the trash.
I'm curious too. I don't know. It seems like it's always, I know it's Wednesday night, but I'm usually like too casually dressed to go outside. And so that's always my excuse. I'm like, well, I tell my wife, you're fully dressed. Why don't you take it out? I have to, put on some sweatpants or something else. And I don't know. I just feel like, why is it my job? But to be honest, she does a lot more than I do probably in the home. So I think I have to just do it. Be quiet.
That's true. Thank you.
Go ahead, Molly.
Oh, no, I was just thanking Michael for his presentation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I love that for this presentation you cut it down to 4 very easy and digestible steps. I think it's great that you gave a very personal example of something that any pet owner, especially for a new puppy, experiences, but also this could be applied in so many situations, whether that's discussing holiday dinner plans, to chores around the house, to making a point at work when you're coming with an idea and saying like, hey, I really want to implement this change in the company. How can we go about this? And I think this framework applies to so many different situations. And I like that we started it really in a simple and a very common examples, and then we can apply it to more complex things, because a workplace example, which I'm sure a lot of cultivators experience, is if you want to implement any change, how can we go about that? So to where you can pitch that idea to your boss or to your boss's boss's boss, right? And really, for me, I think number 3 with them was a really big revelation of like, yeah, you really have to think of like, how is it going to benefit them, not just you or the team directly, but really communicate that. So I really love that part of the presentation, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
Good job.
Does anyone have any questions? I know we're almost coming up on time. We have a few minutes left.
No questions for me. Michael, thanks. Great job.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Michael. And we'll record this and share it on our YouTube channel shortly. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.